Greetings and welcome to Nathan Lyle Official. For those who have never seen my face in a video before, my name is Nathan Lyle, and this is my personal channel where I record vlogs, reviews, and anything else that happens to catch my fancy. This particular video is called, part of a series called Rants and Rambles, where I do just that. I rant and ramble. It's basically just an excuse for me after a long week to get some shit off my chest. Damn it. Oh wait, did I through? Got my paychecks today, and I'm gonna open it on camera. You know why? Because people make such a big deal about money. Money is a thing you have. It's not who you are. Like, a lot of people don't talk about their paychecks, but the only reason they don't talk about their paychecks is because we're told we're supposed to feel weird about it. But here's the thing about money. No matter how little money you make, if you look hard enough, odds are you'll find someone making less. And no matter how much money you make, if you look hard enough, odds are you might be able to find someone who makes more. So yeah, my check for today, $723.32. Not half bad. I've had better, I've had a lot worse. That's slightly above average, and my next one might be slightly bigger than that, just because these past few weeks have been hell. Yeah, the busy season is coming to a close soon, because it's like November, December with the holidays, and then January we got Restaurant Week, then we got Shark Week, and then next week we got Valentine's Week. Which, you know, my recommendation to anyone who's in a relationship now or whoever plans to be in a relationship in the future, don't go out on Valentine's Day. It's not romantic. You're gonna be stuffed into an overcrowded restaurant where the staff is overworked and understaffed, and it's just, you're not gonna have the best experience possible. It's really, you really aren't. But yeah, there's a bunch of people who think that, you know, going out on Valentine's Day is more important than how much fun you actually have when you get together. So, whatever. People are gonna come and spend a ton of money, and I told my bosses, fuck it, let's just hike up the prices like 2 or 3 times just because. Like, they'll pay it because they don't want to look cheap in front of their girlfriend. They will pay it. This is the time of year where I start to remember how old I am. I'm not a young guy anymore. I got, like, this morning, just, like, I woke up, took one step out of bed, and I was like, yeah, nope, that's not happening. Laid back down for another 30 minutes. I've gotten in the habit of keeping a protein bar and a bottle of water within arm's reach of me before I go to sleep every night. Because, well, the protein bar is just because there are days like that when I'm getting home at 1 in the morning after a 10-hour shift, and then I wake up and it's just like, nope, not happening. There are times I get home and it just feels like, you know, everything below the knee is just about to fall off. And then, the water is just because I wake up in the morning and my tongue is so dry it feels like sandpaper. Actually, that's something I've been wondering about, and I should probably find a doctor to ask about it, just because I've noticed something that makes me rethink my whole life, and I wonder if on a cellular level there's some sort of issue with my body not being able to perform osmosis. Because when I think back on my life, I've always had a small bladder. Or so I've been told. But what if the bladder itself isn't the problem? Because even now, there are times when I drink something and 10 minutes later it feels like I need to rush straight to the bathroom. I mean, I've learned by now to hold it. You know, I'm not wetting the bed anymore. But it's the thing, though, you know. Like, they say, drink, 8 cups of water a day? Yeah, right. I drink like 8 liters. I mean, it helps that I'm a large man with a physically demanding job, so hydration is important. I've been underhydrated. I've left work underhydrated, and that was not fun. So I've learned stay hydrated, very important. But there are times when it feels like I'm always thirsty and I'm always peeing. And I've noticed, people keep saying, "Oh, your lips are chapped. If your lips are chapped, that means you're not drinking enough water." But especially now at this point in my life, I'm constantly drinking water, and yet my lips are constantly chapped. Just always. I mean, they're kind of semi-chapped right now. And that just makes me think, what if there is that possibility that, my body just isn't absorbing the water like it should, and that I have to pee often because it's just like shooting through me quicker than it should? I don't know. I feel like that's a thing that might happen. It makes sense. It explains a wide variety of my life. It really does. I don't know. I have to ask a doctor sometime, but I feel like that's a thing that it could. It's a possibility. Like let's all admit that it's a possibility. So yeah, I don't know if you've seen this thing. It's a Backscratcher. It's doing me good right now. It's also a foot scratcher. It's just a good thing to have, and I'm thankful for it. However, this is have you ever had those things where someone gives you a gift knowing it's gonna be the best thing you've ever gotten in your life, and you're like, that's it? But you know that they're so excited to give it to you, and you kind of have to fake it. That's what this is. And I can talk about this on the internet because my boss does not use the internet. He doesn't believe in the internet. Because he asked me at the beginning of December if there was anything I wanted for Christmas, and just kind of on a whim I said Backscratcher. Because I'm noticing there are times when I get itchy, and it always seems to be in that one spot that you just can't reach, And so I just said Backscratcher. And I just got this last week. So yeah, it's one of those things. He spent 2 months looking for it, going from store to store. At some point in time, I did tell him, you can't just look online and order one. And he says, no. I'm going to find one. And I'm like, I just went online and I just typed Backscratcher, and oh my god, it's amazing what's on the market right now. And some of them for fairly low prices. Some of them, what the hell? Would anyone pay that kind of money for a Backscratcher? This shit is premium. But they've got some really interesting things at low prices. I saw some with the collapsible and extendable, so you can shove it down, shove it in your pocket. And there were some with different shapes and sizes, because this looks like my spaghetti scoop. But I saw one that looked like a shuriken, and I was like, that's interesting. Kind of want to try that just to see. It's a whole world out there, And so for him to show up after 2 months of waiting and hand me a dinosaur painted spaghetti scoop, and I have to act like, oh my god, it's the best present I've ever gotten. It's not fun being on that end. It's not fun. It's not a fun experience. But there have been some good things happening. Got some cake today. It's chocolate, vanilla frosting, and there's some cherry in there, because it's 2 layers, and between those layers there's cherry jam or jelly, whatever. I can't. Who cares? It's cherry. It's delicious. Also, I can officially announce that the physical book still gotta wait on that, but the digital book finally going to be published. I got official word. It should be up for sale on comixology of February 12th. That's Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's been a long road to get here. Also, autobiography still available. Merch still available. And actually, I'm thinking of releasing, because we're only going to do the first 4 books, and there's something that happens in the next, like later, like around the middle of the story. And where I introduce like his first major villain, and I'm thinking of just like releasing a poster of that villain to help build some hype, so that maybe, hey, more people start buying more of these and demanding more because they want to get to the villain, and and so like I could end up I'm actually making money and there's demand, so maybe I put it out quicker, kind of thing. I mean, it already, did I? Oh, that's what yes, so because like the villain was already drawn. We did character design and everything before we did a single book. So, villains drawn and, copyrighted. So, thinking about just throwing them out there. His name is Hexapoda, which is the scientific name for the insect family, or was it class? It's hard to remember. But yeah, it's Hexapoda. It's the scientific name for insects, and well, I don't want to spoil it too much. All I can say is he was actually inspired by Oogie Boogie, the villain from A Nightmare Before Christmas. He looks very interesting. That's all I'll say. He looks very interesting. But, so yeah, I'm thinking about, like, throwing him out there. I know. There was a booger in my throat. My nose has just been stuffed. This weather's been cold, getting down to the 30s overnight past couple days. It's only 60 right now. Looks like we're getting warmer. It keeps going up and down. We get an 80-degree day, then a couple 60-degree days. Then we go back to 70s for a week. I'm not getting used to this. But you know what I am getting used to? I've started brushing my teeth again. And this is the first time I've made it an entire week doing it every single day, that I am actually brushing my teeth once a day. I'm trying to take better care of my life. No sugar or any other carbohydrates after sundown, which is why this cake is here. I'm going to eat it tomorrow. The cake is my breakfast. They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but here's the thing. Breakfast is the earliest meal of the day, and then you got like 12 hours after that before you fall asleep again. So breakfast, I'm carbo loading as hell. And then the rest of the day, make sure all my meals have fruits and vegetables and whatnot. Breakfast is nothing but grease and sugar. That's my breakfast. I never said I was trying to be like The Rock, okay? I'm not training to be a bodybuilder. I'm trying to make healthier choices. I am not going vegan anytime soon. Yeah. Also finally got my boss to fix the door, because there's a door, it's got like a broken hinge, and it's supposed to it's got like this arm that attaches to the frame so that when you open it, it pulls itself closed. And someone broke it last year, and now he keeps getting mad because people just keep leaving the door open. But he keeps getting mad at me, and I've had to tell him before, like, you're yelling at the only person in this entire fucking company that actually does close the door behind him every time he walks through. And that's why nothing ever changes. But yeah, eventually, he finally got tired of it, like, enough is enough, and he finally went and fixed it. Because, like, we even have, like, signs, like, on the door, like, stacked from floor to ceiling, just because, like, make sure, you see it. You can't say you don't see it. Because no matter where your eyes are, there are signs at eye level. And people just ignore him and keep leaving it open. And he's like, why? And I'm like, because that's what humans do. That's the nature of free will. As long as you're capable of making the choice, there will always be people who do the wrong thing. That's just life. So yeah, doors fixed and people immediately getting pissed off. Because one guy accidentally locked himself out. And he came in like ready to kill someone. Like, who's locking me out? And I'm like, you locked yourself out, man. You gotta be careful with that knob. So yeah, I'm going to bed. I'm tired. But one thing, this came in shockingly quick. This is a certificate of registration from the U.S. Copyright Office for my fiction novel, which hopefully will come out this year. The plan is to do it in summer. It's called Forever I'm In. Now that I've got it officially copyrighted, I'm going to talk about it just a tiny bit. Just to give you a hint, because basically what it is... excuse me. It's a story. It's a sad story. It's also a relatively short story. It's only 11 chapters, about 15,000 words. And I can't guarantee it won't get slimmed down even more when I do the next draft. I'll possibly expand it, who knows. For the most part, we're in the final draft, but it's like rough final draft kind of thing. It's a story I've been working on for about a decade. And basically, simplest of terms, it's a coming-of-age medical drama about a bunch of people, a group of friends in their 20s. One of them finds out she has cancer, and she's slowly dying. And the story is about how they respond, how everyone deals with the fact that she is dying. And honestly, this was made entirely on introspective. I was kind of taking a look at myself, because it was the entire reason this exists is because I was watching a TV show where someone gets diagnosed with cancer. And honestly, the first thought in my head is, it's another 50-year-old getting cancer. And no offense to the 50-year-olds out there and the 80-year-olds and the 100-year-olds, but especially when you're young, because I think I had just finished being a teenager. But when you're young, when I was young, I know there was always kind of an element of like, well, you're old, you've lived your life, who cares? And I'm like, the older I get, the more I realize how stupid that is, because dying is always a big deal, usually. And so, but like back then, it was one of those things like, it was harder to feel. The older you are, the harder it is to feel bad for you. And so I decided to do a story. Basically, the entire story is based on just imagining if someone my age, a friend that I went to school with or something, was going through this. How would I feel? How would I respond? Someone that I expected to see tomorrow, I'm suddenly being told they're not going to be there. And so just about almost every single character in this story is entirely just one aspect of my personality just given physical shape. These are just all the different ways I could imagine myself potentially reacting. All the different directions my brain went. And then I just gave each one a physical shape. That was the original premise behind it that started it all. And so, yeah, I'm not going to say it's as good as John Green, but, hopefully I did half decent. I've gotten, one good review so far. I've got, so far, everyone who has seen it in its varying stages from its early inception to now, I've had good positive feedback. They told me to keep pushing forward, so yeah, I have confidence that this is a decent story worth reading. So hopefully when it comes out, you'll all feel free to buy it. Oh, this nose is bothering me. So yeah, that's my day. Only thing, if you want to buy any of my stuff, give me some money, show your support. All those links in the description below. Was I gonna do something? Hold on. Oh, that's right. I'm gonna do a review Star Trek Discovery this weekend because I was working on a new Star Trek movie series and a new Star Wars movie series. So like the Star Wars thing is actually an old one I came up with when I was a teenager, and I revamped it after watching this new generation of Star Wars. And then I was like, because I've been watching some of the old school Star Trek, the shows and the movies and stuff. And so I was working on my own Star Trek series, and then I was like, I feel like because I was designing it based off of the old '90s stuff. So I decided I should see what the modern Star Trek universe looks like. It gives me an excuse to check out Picard. So I got a 1 week free trial of All Access and just marathon through the first 2 seasons of Discovery, and I got some feelings about that, and I will share them. And then I'm also gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna do it this week. It might just be something I start reserving for when I don't have enough content, and I don't want you to go like 3 weeks without hearing from me. But the fan fiction, I did Dragon Ball Z last week. The next one I plan to do, whenever I end up filming it, gonna be X-Men. I invented a character who is basically just me throwing myself in the X-Men universe. Part 1 is going to be X-Men, how he fits into X-Men Evolution, because he was created for the X-Men Evolution storyline. And then part 2 will be the live action films. Not gonna do any of the because shockingly X-Men, it's a weird one because I can only say this about X-Men. I've seen all the TV shows, seen all the movies, I've played the games, never actually picked up a comic and read it. I think that's the only comic thing that's the only one I can say that about. Every other franchise, every other franchise that I'm this heavily engrossed in or engorged, what's the right word? Whatever, we'll say submerged. Any other franchise that I'm this submerged in, I've usually at least looked at the comics. I mean, I know I've physically seen an X-Men comic. I can't remember reading one. It's possible that I did when I was a kid and it just, didn't stick in my head. But, because I know the ones I read the most were Spider-Man and Sonic the Hedgehog. And then I also checked out a few Batman and a few Superman and stuff like that here and there. I don't remember ever picking up an X-Men comic and reading it. So yeah, not gonna talk about comic books and the '90s show. I hardly remember anything about it. I haven't seen it in years. And then because there was Wolverine in the X-Men, that was so short-lived, it's not worth talking about. And I'm not going to talk about video games because that's entirely fighting. I would not be able to discuss that without talking about his powers. And this is a character that I might actually like to sell someday. So I figured out a way to tell you about his life and how he fits into the X-Men storylines without revealing his powers. Other than to say, the one thing I would not be able to describe the actual power itself, but I can tell you it's something transformative in nature. It affects his physical appearance. So yeah. But other than that, and honestly, I'm not even gonna tell you his real name. He's gonna go by Tom. So yeah. That's what I've got coming up on this channel. I am tired. I'm gonna turn off this camera and just fall asleep on the floor. I've been sleeping on the floor more. It's a weird thing, cause it's a different kind of sleep when I fall on the floor. For some reason I can pass out so easily. And I will not wake up until I'm well rested. which is a good thing some days, but a bad thing on others. But yeah, it's life. That's the life. That's my life right now. So yeah, until the next time you see my face in the video, my name is Nathan Lyle. Have a great day.